we were already a good business. We were already
Yeah,
doing seven figures
yeah.
annually. But yeah, last year, January, December, we were about 300% up
Wow,
year on year, and this year we're 200% up year on year again already. So we're yeah,
crazy.
we're growing very, very well.
Hi guys, how's it going? It's Sam here. I'm super excited for today's video. Today I'm interviewing one of my friends, Ollie, who owns a company called ConversionWise, and they've grown that company into an absolute beast, a company that turns over north of seven figures in profit each year. We're going to delve into how he started the business from scratch, from day one, literally just him and his business partner on their own, how they've grown it into a company that has dozens and dozens of employees across the world, and hundreds of clients. Super excited to kind of share this interview with you guys. I've left Ollie's channels. I left his company YouTube channel linked in the description box, as well as where you can find Ollie and reach out to him if you want to. We delve into some amazing topics, such as things like their organic marketing strategy, how they acquire clients, how to hire your first 1 to 2 employees, and even more stuff that you guys are going to absolutely love. Make sure you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, I don't know why you aren't. I post content like this multiple times a week at the moment. So make sure you subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to miss my next post, give the video a like if you liked it. And as always, you guys can join the agency club, where I posted a lot of the questions that came from this interview came from my agency club Inner Circle, which you can join. You get access to 2 weekly coaching sessions with myself. We're building out a framework, a paid advertising framework, and courses and content, and loads of cool stuff in there as well. So I'll leave a link in the description box if you guys want to join. But otherwise, enjoy the video, and I will see you guys soon. You start us off. So this is my friend Ollie. He owns ConversionWise, hands in a few other pies. But yeah, just give us an introduction. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I guess my entrepreneurial journey has been since I guess the age of sort of 15, but the last 20 years, believe it or not, I know I look younger than Sam, but the last 20 years, I've been on a very amazing journey in entrepreneurship and business, and I'm sure we'll delve into some of the kind of bits in between. But yeah, as Sam said, now currently co-founder and CEO of a company called ConversionWise, which is a conversion rate optimization agency that we've had for 11 years. Scaled it all the way from myself and my best friend, business partner, Andy, who Sam knows very well as well, to now a team of, I think, 40, just over 40. And yeah, doing some really exciting stuff and still love it 11 years on, which is really important.
That's um that's so cool. Yeah, obviously I've known Ollie for 5 years, maybe
Yeah, I'd
four or
say
five
that.
years. Sort of helped me in my journey, our journey as a company, and all the way through to today. But I think one thing that would be awesome to just know about is your background. So you didn't come from a marketing degree or anything like that. You tell us how you kind of got into it.
Yeah, I love this story. It's a bit cheesy, but I was a chef, so I was always the class clown at school. I wasn't like naughty. I wasn't getting like expelled, but I just wasn't interested. I didn't really education didn't really suit me. So I always I didn't have any interest really at school, and the only thing I did do was work. So from the age of 13, this was like again sort of showing my age now, 25, 20 years ago. I'm 36 now, when you could get jobs when you were like 13, 14. Now there's a lot of laws in place where you can't start working until you're sort of 16, 17, I think I'm right in saying. But, at the age of 13, I was in the pizza kitchens making pizzas at my local restaurant. And that's the only thing I was kind of good at was, I loved sport, but I was really quite good as being a chef. So my parents weren't going to have me just quitting school and sitting around and doing nothing. So they sent me off to Stratford upon Avon to go to college, where I trained as a chef, and I got my culinary arts, basically a degree, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, a qualification in chefing. And the only reason I did it was because of my experience. I got to do the whole qualification in 1 year instead of 3. So there was a lot of pissed off people on that course when I turned up in the third year. But
Yeah.
that's the reason I did it. But I was never interested in the educational route. I thought of like uni and college just petrified me. So In the spare time as a chef, you don't work very, I guess, very easy hours when you're a chef, and then not, you don't socialize much when you're a chef because you're always working when people are off, and people are always working when you're on. So you're on different schedules. So yeah, I was constantly in the kitchens, and I kind of stumbled across the online world. So hip hop actually brought me to where I am now, which is weird. I still do love hip hop. And I used to be on these back in the day of like 8 Mile and rap battles. I used to be obsessed with like hip hop and music and poetry and rap battles. And I went on and found these communities, these forums of people doing rap battles. And I remember becoming fixated with the idea of community. Community is a backbone of a lot of stuff that we do. And yeah, I loved it. So I did the whole Dragon's Den pitch to my father and my grandfather back then when I was about 15, 16, because I had no money. You don't earn any money being a chef, especially not when you're 15, 16. So I asked them for 150 quid to cover a domain, hosting for a year, and a vBulletin license. vBulletin is an old software before the days of like Discord, Facebook groups, school. You had to build these communities on PHP and HTML. And I started this community called Who You Reppin', and it was all about all the different rap boards and forums coming together in a neutral place to battle each other. Just a concept I had. And it's very cliche. Fast forward all these years, 20, 30 failed, not businesses, but ideas, websites, started making money and got into, I networked through those communities. That's why I love communities, because you just meet awesome people. Sam, you'll know that through your community, through meeting me. I'm not saying I'm awesome, but we met through Facebook groups and Facebook and social media. That you just meet awesome people, and your journeys kind of then change. So I met one guy who was doing affiliate marketing, then got involved in affiliate marketing, started a community within affiliate marketing, and the rest is kind of history, as they say.
And obviously you sold that business, right? When you were what, 29, probably my age.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So I whilst I was in college, I created an affiliate marketing community. Now, this community was purely because this was, again, before the days of like Facebook groups, etc. It was just purely a place to network with other affiliates to discuss how you generate revenue for affiliate marketing. Never thought it was going to be a business. I didn't even know you could really monetize communities. But all of a sudden, we had all these people joining, and people are joining, and they were asking for help. And then all of a sudden, I had someone contact me and say, "Can I pay you to advertise my affiliate network on the community?" And I was like, "This is nuts! I'm going to make some money from this." And that community was actually what led me to quit my full-time job as a chef at the age of 25, 26. And we scaled it to the largest to date, the largest ever affiliate marketing community, free affiliate marketing community online. And we exited. I say we, it was just me, which is quite cool. I exited in 2017, I think it was. Well, when I was 29, for a good sum, which was amazing.
That's awesome. Obviously now you own ConversionWise, which used to be called Landing Page Guys, because yourself and your partner are both guys. I'm guessing that's why it was called that. A lot of people in who watch my YouTube channel are pretty early in their journey, and one of the things I notice is people are always trying to, start selling something and get a product and try and find the newest, coolest model or kind of hack, or let's say trend.
Yeah.
What triggered you guys to start Landing Page Guys? Because when I originally found you, it was quite a novel concept what you guys were doing.
Yeah.
And the way you had branded and marketed the agency, I never saw anything similar to that. So do you want to just kind of
sure.
let us know about
So the way the business started was really opportunistic, and I think as an entrepreneur, especially one that maybe doesn't know exactly what they want to do, you have to be opportunistic. You have to listen to market fit, market validation. And I had the affiliate community. So I had this community. I had a lot of members within that community who needed what back then was called a landing page, essentially a one-page website that advertised a product or service, etc. And I didn't know too much about them, but one day the same guy who actually asked to advertise on the site hit me up, and he was a mentor of mine and a good friend of mine for some time, a guy called Tim Bird, absolute legend in the Facebook advertising space.
Owned AdLeaks, for those who
owned
know.
AdLeaks. Yeah, he's still a very good friend of ours. He hit me up and he said, "Look, I love the design of your community. Me and Sam share similar kind of passion for design and the way things look, and I've always loved that, and our community was very well designed." And he said, "Look, I love your community. Can you introduce me to your designer, whoever designed it?" And I guess that was probably the first indication I had that I actually was very entrepreneurial. Instead of
Mm.
just going, yes, I'll do an email intro, I thought, okay, I'm going to arbitrage this. So what I did essentially was project managed Tim's first landing pages with our designer. I just sat in the middle as a project manager. I then met my now best friend, business partner, co-founder, who Sam, you obviously know very well, Andy, through the community as well, which is nuts, power of community.
Mm.
He only lives half an hour from me, which is mad as well. You know, hundreds of thousands of people on this community, and there is Andy, who lives like 20 minutes in the car from me.
Yeah.
Madness. But I brought Andy on board. We met. I said to him, "Look, I want to hire you." I hired him for about 2 weeks until we realized that he's like literally the yin to my yang, and
Mm.
he's the opposite of me. Everything that he's good at, I'm rubbish at. Everything I'm good at, he's rubbish at. So we kind of
Yeah.
moved together, similar to Sam and Rob in your business. And yeah, it's just again, I hate the cliche, but the rest is history. We started managing his pages. I think the reason we went for the name is because there's a couple of things. So what one little tip, I guess, if people are starting their journey, there's one book that I remember telling Sam several years ago to read, that I tell everyone who asks for my opinion and advice to read, which is Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley.
Yeah.
I think it's a must read for people starting in business. And the whole concept of Key Person of Influence is marketing yourself or becoming so obsessed with one thing that whenever someone in that space thinks of that one thing, they think of you.
Mm.
So we then came up for the first year, we were called createmy.com. The whole idea was like create my website, createmy.com.
Yeah.
And then when Tim got involved with the landing pages, we lent into it. We basically carved another book, and I'm not a huge reader, but I'll kind of give you the books that I think are worth reading. Is Blue Ocean Strategy.
Yeah.
So carving our Blue Ocean. You know, if you're a web design agency and you're especially new, you're not going to stand out. There's millions, hundreds of thousands in the UK that do it way better than us. But what we were able to do is Ronsil literally do what it says on the tin. We
Yeah.
named ourselves the landing page guys, and I got fixated, and I am still unhealthily obsessed with becoming the go-to and person that everyone thinks about when they say landing pages or CRO, that we literally did what it says in the tin.
Yeah.
Whenever someone thought of landing pages, landing page guys, it was a natural fit.
I think you and me are similar. Like whenever people ask me the same question,
Mm.
um, about names and business ideas, and it's millions of times I see an agency and they're called like, I don't know, um, Melon Marketing Limited or something, and I'm like, okay, but what do you do?
Yeah, yeah.
Because just go whatever you do, go and search that, see if that exact domain exists, and buy it. It's like you and I are similar in that if we have a business idea, the first thing we want to do is go and search for the exact
Get the
wording and
name.
see
Yeah,
if it
yeah,
exists.
exactly
It's
right. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and obviously you guys, landing page guys, that you've since, kind of expanded out what you guys deliver. So conversion wise suits that perfectly. But
Yeah,
at the time, landing page guys was like,
I don't regret it. For 8 years, we were landing page guys because we were so fixated with that one thing,
yeah,
and it's given us the foundation. You know, a lot of the I know this isn't about CRO and landing pages, but a lot of the frameworks that are now used in landing page design are our frameworks. We
mm,
develop them. A lot of we our agency has designed more landing pages than any other agency on the planet, which is just crazy to think. So we completely took that market,
yeah,
and we owned it. And I think that name led to us. The reason we changed and rebranded is because we wanted a refresh. It's been 8 years. We'll probably get into this, but we expanded the team. We actually expanded the offering, and we didn't want to just then be the landing page guys. We
yeah.
wanted to be known for more than landing pages. We wanted to now dominate conversions and CRO, which is what we're now on a mission to do.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but at the time when I came across you,
Yeah.
you had your landing page builders, you had your convert trees, your click funnels,
Yep.
um, you had your full web design development, sort of for a good one, 3 to 10,000, maybe even more for like a full website. There was nothing sitting in between those two things.
Mm.
Um, Whereas you guys, you kind of took the blue ocean model, which I always talk about, which is go and get rid of all the things that no one cares about and just focus on the one thing now or two things or a handful of things they do care about. And so
Mm.
you would build a one incredible sales page. And most companies have one key product, right? More or
Yeah.
less. Not everyone, but like, at least the startup ones that we kind of all focused on. All of the companies now, your Athletic Greens, your I don't know, like all of these kind of brands, they more or less all start with one core product. So
Correct.
if you can nail that one page for them, and you're doing it at a price that is very high margin, cost effective for you guys, but also is far more affordable and reasonable than full web development companies are charging. And I also remember your proposals used to be about 5 bullet points and a
Yeah,
price.
yeah, yeah.
I remember when we first started and I was doing these elaborate sort of 5 page PDFs and you were
Yeah, we
saying,
never had to pitch, but our marketing took care of that. The whole
yeah,
angle, because again, that it's not just about the name. And I'm not saying anyone who's watching this, do what you're going to say and put guys on the end of it. I'm not saying that's right for
no,
you,
yeah,
not necessarily, but it was the whole idea. And because we put out so much content and free content and became that thought leader within the space, to this day, because of our organic marketing, we don't have to really pitch a lot of calls. For example, we've got a 60 to 70% call to close ratio because all these
yeah,
leads are warm. They just come to us because we put so much out there and we become the thought leader within these certain spaces. You have to become obsessed. You have to become very obsessed of becoming that go-to person, and that
yeah,
all comes into to relentlessness of content and deliverability of content, in my opinion, if you're doing it organically. But there's no better marketing than organic marketing, because a cold lead versus a warm lead, yeah, your warm lead will win every single time.
100%. Let's talk about that. When you were
Sure.
first starting out, because a lot of people listening will be at ground zero or,
Yep.
number one, two, step one or two, sorry.
Mhm.
Um, how did you arbitrage your first like 10 customers? Obviously, you
Yep.
had your Tim Bird opportunity. I think everybody gets that one or two,
Yeah.
slight opportunity that kind of comes their way and it's about taking advantage. So, how did you go from Tim Bird or that one client to your next 10, 20 landing pages?
Yeah, great question. I think there's two sides to it. There's an Oliver, there's an Andy, there's a Sam, and there's a Rob. I
Yeah,
think there's a sales and there's a deliverability. Your product has to be good and you
yeah,
have to deliver a good quality product. So never ever forget that just because me and Sam are very much more towards the marketing and sales side, there has to be someone on the other side, or you have to deliver a very good product, because a
yeah,
product that's good and gets results will sell itself. There'll be referrals, etc.
yeah,
But I think for me, if I was starting out again and if I was doing this again, I think it's all to do with that kind of message and that obsession. So consistency is everything. Um, Again, I'm going to mention some cliches and they sound a bit cheesy, but your 1,000 true fans is way better than 100,000 unengaged followers. So like, I think in the days now of TikTok and virality, people come fixated with a number. It's all about,
mm,
oh, this video didn't get 500,000 views. Oh, I haven't got 10,000 followers. You don't need that. Even
yeah,
to date, we've only still got 7,000 followers on YouTube, but we've done probably 2 million quid's worth of business through YouTube. So
yeah,
like you don't need these huge numbers. You just need a core following of people who see you as an authority and trust you.
yeah,
So for me, it's all about, I look at, and I've spoken to you about this a lot, Sam, in the past. Like I look at marketing as like a circle, it's like a sphere, and it's all about touch points. So you might have, and you don't have to do all these, by the way. So don't, stick to one thing and be good at it. But you might have Twitter, you might have a newsletter, you might have YouTube, you might have I don't know, some Facebook group, and it's all about how many times you're touching people within this circle. So the second someone sees you on Twitter, they then might join your newsletter. If they then get your newsletter for 6 months, they then may link through to a YouTube video. All of a sudden, you become an authority within their head because you've got these touch points. So the way that I do marketing, the way that Sam, you're very good at this, but obviously you do the paid side as well. But it's a long slog because you're not getting results straight away. It's not like paid media where you're setting up an ad and getting a direct lead or a sale. It's a long slog, but my God, when it pays off, it pays off.
yeah,
It's incredible. We have so many people and agencies are jealous of what we have now, but it's taken 10 years to get to this stage.
yeah,
Obviously, it doesn't, I'm not saying you're going to have 10 years before you get to that first lead, etc., but you have to be consistent. What I would do is I would pick one or two channels that you think you are good at. So if you're introverted, probably being on camera is not going to suit you. So, maybe steer clear of YouTube for now. Maybe pick something like Twitter long form posts. Maybe it's then repurposed onto LinkedIn in a carousel, but stick to one or two things. Stick to a topic or a subject that you think you are passionate about and very good at, and that you can sell a service or something on the back of, and just start dripping content. You'll be amazed at how if your content's decent and you do there's a little bit of growth hacking in between these things, a little, a few little auto DM campaigns or like and share this, etc., etc. But
Mm.
once you get that audience, the people who don't make it or who will fail are the people who aren't consistent. So I would pick 1 to 2 platforms, do a posting schedule, and just be relentless with it every day. I mean, even now, 11 years on, me and my co-founder, Andy, we do this in our personal life. We have a spreadsheet every month where we set 2 or 3, no, actually probably more, 4 or 5 things that we have to do every
Mm.
day, and we physically have to tick it off the spreadsheet. So we share this spreadsheet, and it
Yeah.
might be things like 30 minutes in the gym, 10 pages of reading, spend an hour with our kids, 2 posts on Twitter, and a newsletter or whatever it is. But because consistency breeds success. So the
Hmm.
more you're consistent with it, the more you stick to it. It may not feel like you're getting results after a month, but trust me, after 6 months, it compounds.
Yeah.
And that's how you really get this product, get your service or product off the ground for sure.
I did a similar thing. I think you did a similar thing as me, which is in the early stages. I went and found a bunch of Facebook groups, and back then Facebook groups were kind of the new thing,
Yeah.
and now it might be like school communities or it might be forums or I don't know what they're all using now. But I used Facebook groups. I found some like ones like AdLeaks. I found like some paid media ones, some local
Yeah.
business advertising ones, and I would just consistently post videos in them.
Yep.
And sometimes they get like 100, 200 likes.
Yeah. As
And I
long as you
wasn't
do it in an
self-promoting.
organic way. Yeah, exactly. As long as
Yeah,
it's helpful. Again, I can't remember who said it, but some clever marketer, I don't know who it was.
yeah, yeah,
I always remember this quote from a long time ago. They said, put your best stuff out for free. Because typically what happens, and no one likes to admit it, but I will admit it, and I've said it before. Typically what happens, you can give pretty much 90% of what you do away for free.
yeah,
Especially if you're an agency, if you're offer a service. And that's a really good lead magnet. People will trust you. They'll probably try it, but they're not you. They're not your team. They don't have your processes. They don't have your success rate. They're not as good as you. So 9 times out of 10, what happens is people don't get the results or they're too lazy. And that's just human nature to fulfill it themselves or too busy to fulfill it themselves. So they'll
hmm,
come back and hire you. And that's the life
agreed.
cycle of what we do. It might take 6 months, but once you've had those touch points, the people that when they think that this is something they want to pay or hire for, they're coming straight to you. So we've
Yeah,
always had that ethos of like giving everything away for free, putting it all out on the table, helping as many people as possible. And even if it's not now, it might be in 3 years' time. We get so many leads each week that go like, been following you since the landing page, guys. Been following you since you had Affiliate Fix, your forum. Watched your first video 4 years ago.
yeah,
They're now coming and paying us, but it all comes down to that like touch point and authority and just being consistent with it, which is so important.
agreed. And obviously you guys are like kings of the organic marketing. A lot of people do paid. We do a bit of paid.
Yeah.
Um, but like now, like in 2024, what do you think for an agency? What do you think is the best channel if you had to pick one?
Um, I think it depends on what you're selling, but I think my gut would go to X. I think Twitter, I think it's definitely had a decline in the last couple of months, but I think it's still very not easy, but it's the easiest platform in my opinion to get targeted follows. So what I
Yeah,
mean by that is LinkedIn, you can go viral. So you can put in a very generic, broad typically what work content that works well on LinkedIn is things like hiring posts or because it's a hiring platform, right?
yeah,
Ultimately, people are on LinkedIn to get jobs, to connect with people who have businesses. So if you put in like a quote that says something like, no longer am I looking at a CV, I'm looking at do they have common sense and do they have
yeah,
attitude? Like that post might go viral and you might get a load of connections, but they're not necessarily those 1,000 true fans. They're not targeted.
yeah,
Whereas on X and YouTube, I feel like your followers are way more targeted. So
yeah,
we do most of revenue through X. And we've grown 20,000 followers in the last like just over a year.
yeah,
But I feel like that's all again dependent on what you're doing and selling. If you're in marketing, I think X is probably where it's at.
yeah.
LinkedIn's probably a bit more B2B. YouTube is definitely great. I mean, Sam, you're a huge advocate of that. You've done so well on your YouTube side. So
Mm,
yeah, I think again it also comes into what you're naturally good at. Are you good at writing content? Are you good at writing short form, long form? Are you better on video? I'm far better on video, but I'm
yeah,
lucky that we've grown so much that I have a marketing team. So I can
yeah,
do a day's worth of content a month and get a whole month's worth of 50, 60 posts because my team will edit my videos, they'll do shorts,
Yeah.
they'll transcribe it into long form posts.
Yeah.
I understand that not many people have that option at the moment within your sort of community. So
Yeah.
stick to what you're good at. If you're good at video, go all out on video.
Yeah.
Become obsessed, become relentless, get a content schedule up, and just don't miss a day. If you miss a day, then don't go out on the weekend. Punish yourself,
Yeah.
because that's when it will work. If you're just relentless and consistent. Two
And
words,
people forget
best
that
words.
TikTok you can get lots of views, but my YouTube views aren't loads, but
Mm.
you look at the watch time and it's like 6 minutes.
Thousand True Fans again. It just goes
Yeah.
back to curated audiences. It's not all about numbers. Again, like I say, I think especially the younger generation becomes so obsessed with like a number.
Yeah.
But I would much rather I would 10 times have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube who were genuinely interested in what I was teaching over 100,000 TikTok followers who didn't really give a shit, and I was just amongst
Yeah.
the noise.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So you've got your first 10 clients and or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
How do you go from just you and Andy, or anyone listening, just yourself, to serious, good revenue, good profit, let's call it, 6 figures or
yeah,
more in annual profit. How do you go from just essentially freelance
yeah.
to an actual team and a business is worth something?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that a lot of people struggle with, and I'm sure we did, is like, can I afford staff? Can I afford a team? It's a big commitment. I think the easiest way to do that first and foremost is via freelancers. So
Mm,
utilizing overseas hires, because you don't have to pay the tax, you don't have to pay the national insurance, you don't have to do pension contributions. If you're hiring overseas, it's pretty much just a fixed monthly fee.
yeah.
And talent these days is in abundance and it's cheap. So,
Mm,
for your assistants, for your account managers, your VAs, $1,200 per month is going to get you someone very qualified and good.
yeah.
There might be a different time zone, there might be other community, factors that will affect things, but it's risk free. Not most contractors don't need, most freelancers don't want a contract. They're not held into a minimum term. So you can take very much a kind of more calculated risk on those sort of people to see if that place is something necessary. What I always say to people, is work out what you're spending 80 to 90% of your time for. So this is an exercise that anyone can do. If you
Mhm.
are full-time, or you're trying to be full-time and you've got a service and a business, and you're not yet kind of outsourcing or haven't hired anyone, just go through a whole week. It's an annoying exercise, but it's worth it. Go through a whole week, and every time you do an activity, have a spreadsheet and say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and write down what that activity was. What was it? How long did it take you? And you'll start seeing repeating patterns. You'll start seeing that again, it's very broad because I don't know what businesses people are doing, but like you'll start seeing that like between 8 and 9 every morning, you're checking your email. In the afternoon, between this and this, you're doing account management. Here, you're doing a bit of design work. Here, you're looking at your development side of things. You'll start seeing these patterns. And all of a sudden, you can then itemize those patterns into specific roles. And then all I would do is take those things, and it's very cheesy, but create SOPs. So create processes for each and every one of the things. So again, I remember we had you guys do it, Sam, where you literally sit down, and if I'm going to do a specific role within my day to day, I record it on Loom. I talk through it, what I'm doing, and you
Mm,
put it into a Google Drive, and you say, this is how you do this. This is how I do this. So
yeah.
all of a sudden, not everything, because you are you and you're unique and you're very good at what you do. And I'm talking to everyone,
Yeah.
but you will have, 70% of your workload, you probably will be able to hand off to someone else. And what you have to get into your head is, yes, it's going to cost me money and the margin on my business is going to become less, but imagine what you can fucking do with 70% more of your time, because
Mm,
your time is more valuable than that person's time. No disrespect to them, but if
yeah.
you can productize and you can almost process your day to day,
Yeah.
then that frees you up to look at the bigger picture. So that's what we did. We started bringing in, designers, developers, account managers, eventually sales. I would say for the first couple of years, or the first 6 figures in business, be on the sales calls, because what the sales calls allow you to do is become fucking warriors and relentless. And I think selling is such a valuable technique, but it
Mm.
also gives you direct feedback. What do people want? What don't they want? It allows you to validate price points, ideas, contracts, uh, uh, periods of
Yeah.
how long you sell your product for, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I think my first hire would probably be that kind of like account manager or virtual assistant. Anything that's like dealing with the customer day to day, where it's not necessarily needing your brain.
Yeah.
Um, that's what I would outsource, but I would outsource it first. So go freelance. If you then want to bring it in house, I don't know where most of your audience is from, but if you want to then bring it in house, you can do it. But it's all about working out what those day to day tasks are, processing them, documenting them. Because don't forget, once you've documented them once, you can then send that out to the next 10 hires. You don't have to
Yeah.
redocument it. Yeah, things change. Yeah, you have additions. Yeah, improvements are made, but it becomes like a rinse and repeat. It becomes a conveyor belt. We put someone in here a week, they're watching all your videos, bang, they come out the other side and they're doing the job. And you
Yeah.
can then put someone else on the conveyor belt. And that's how you kind of scale.
Definitely.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my partner has done a really good job of that, training our team, putting everything into training
Mm.
portals, like sequencing it, everything like that. And one thing we did early on, which was Rob's idea, was to kind of do a $10, $100, $1,000 hour task list. So
Yep.
all those day-to-day activities you mentioned there, you
Yeah,
can kind of
yeah.
categorize them into like what's worth £10 an hour, what's
Yeah.
worth £1,000 an hour. Closing deals is obviously £1,000 an hour. Setting up Zapiers or setting up Google Drives for clients to access, definitely a £10 an hour task. So it's just making sure they're categorized and systemized, just like you say.
Yeah.
Um, it's essential. I'm really super keen to, I know you haven't got forever, so I'm really
That's
super
cool. We
keen to
got
talk.
time.
Okay, cool. Obviously you guys have scaled a lot in the last 12 months.
Yep.
I think that mainly was just mainly down to the switch from built custom build to subscription. So
Correct.
could you talk briefly about how much you've grown the business and then what caused that kind of spike?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been on an amazing trajectory for the last 12 months now, as Sam said. Very, very lucky. A lot of that was down to we mentioned a kind of rebranding, switching focus from just landing pages to other offerings. So we went into the whole CRO play, which is conversion rate optimization, which does require ongoing work, whereas landing pages before it's just one time project, shake hands with the customer. Hopefully they come back in 6 months, 12 months when they need another one, but it's very much handoff. I think MRR or recurring revenue is something that I will always now build into my business. We
Yeah,
also opened up an academy very similar to your community where it's a monthly kind of paid
yeah,
membership, which has been really good for the monthly recurring revenue as well. So yeah, it was just where we just decided to go into different offerings and go into something where we could add value. It's not just charging monthly for the sake of charging monthly. It's where can we consistently add value and have a client for not just 3 weeks but 3 years.
mm,
So again, I get asked this question a lot. What would you do differently if you were starting again? And my God, the first 10 years, if we had recurring revenue, we'd
yeah.
probably be a lot further ahead than what we are now. So
Agreed.
yeah, we switched it up. We created an offer that was very, very good where we get amazing results for our clients, but we have this 3 month minimum term for a reason because it takes 2, 3 months to fully get up to speed to do what we can so that we can make such huge impact on month three that they don't want to churn. They
Mm,
want to stay with us. They're getting results. They're getting a huge ROI on their investment. So yeah, it was just a decision for us to kind of a eureka moment, I guess, to switch over to the kind of subscription model. But we also did it on our design side, which worked very, very well as well.
yeah.
And it all came down to targeting. Are we targeting the right people? It ultimately goes back to marketing. Are you putting out the right message that attracts the right customers for that price point for what you're trying to sell?
Mm,
And that was a lot of work. That again, that didn't happen overnight. That was months of putting out the correct content to the correct people and the correct audience for them to kind of understand that's what we do now and kind of move forward. So yeah, it wasn't easy. We had definitely we're talking about all the good stuff. We definitely had some real lows in the past 10 years.
yeah,
One of which was probably 18 months ago when we were even thinking of shutting down that agency side of the business.
yeah.
But we had this sort of eureka moment where we decided to switch to monthly recurring and
Yeah.
open up the optimized side. We brought on a lad called Kyle, who's just been incredible. He's in the office next to me, and we believed in him and we backed him, we mentored him, and he's just gone from strength to strength, and so is the solution.
Mm. And how much did you grow the business from when you were from being a custom build, single page, single site business to
Yeah.
subscription? How
We,
much
we
has
were
that grown
already
to?
we were already a good business, we were already
Yeah,
doing seven figures
yeah.
annually. But yeah, last year, January, December, we were about 300% up
Wow,
year on year, and this year we're 200% up year on year again already. So we're yeah,
crazy.
we're growing very, very well.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I had one or two more questions. So
Yeah,
I
please.
had yeah, I posted it in my my group just anyone who had any questions, and one person asked which I thought was quite interesting. They said they started a web design agency,
Hmm.
obviously now like 2024.
Yeah.
But they'd switched to lead gen because they were saying companies weren't seeing the value on web design. So he was interested to see what how did you sustain your growth or in such a quote unquote saturated market?
Yeah, it's a very saturated market. All I would say to you is you're not good enough at selling. Um, really bluntly,
Yeah,
web design is hugely valuable. It's just how you sell it. I
yeah,
think that's why we've got the edge, is because we went down the whole conversion route, right? Where every single web design agency will come to you and they'll say, we can make you an amazing looking website. Oh, it's going to look so good. It's going to look way better than your competitors. It's going to look so professional. Ultimately, it comes down to the benefit versus feature thing. Looking good is almost like a feature. What's
yeah,
the benefit of it looking good? It might look the best website in the world, but it might not convert. You might not get any signups, any customers.
yeah.
So that's why I pick you apart on your selling.
Mm,
You have to have an edge. You have to have a blue ocean strategy. You have to have whether that's that you use incredible illustrations and infographics that help convert customers, or you have this incredible funnel that takes people down into a phone call, or
yeah,
you do CRO or landing page optimization where your
yeah,
pages are built to turn clicks into customers. That's our whole slogan. We turn clicks into customers. People don't hire us to make something look nice. They hire us to make something efficient and make them money.
yeah,
That's the benefit. That's the outcome. That's what we do day in, day out. So it's fine switching to lead gen. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but ultimately yeah, it's competitive. Lead gen's just as competitive. You have to have
yeah.
an edge.
Agreed.
You have to learn how to sell. You have to go to your customers with a deck. You have to show them the benefits, the outcome, the transformation with working with you. Don't just say we're going to make you an amazingly looking website, because I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I always say you need to be able to explain your product to
Yeah.
somebody in like one sentence that
Yeah.
in a way that they can immediately see the value. It's not like you're selling them in one sentence. It's like you're selling them on listening to you for another 20 minutes
Yeah.
in one sentence.
We turn clicks into customers.
Exactly. I 100% agree. And also, yeah, it's saturated, but I equally think the more people there are, it just makes the good ones rise to the top.
Mm.
Um,
I
so I
think
don't think that's,
saturation's a bit of an excuse. That there's
yeah,
so many there's enough food at the table for everyone to eat.
yeah,
It ultimately, saturation is a good thing. When new companies spring up in the CRO space, do you know my general thought process of it and my reaction to it is I get really pissed off, but I don't get pissed off because their competitors. I get angry with the fact that I am going to beat them. And that's
mm,
the attitude you have to have. And I don't do it through shady tactics. I don't badmouth anyone. I do it through being relentless. And
yeah,
that's what you have to have. You have to be like, it's good. It's fuel full of fire. So like, go and make a move in that busy ocean, but you have to have an angle. You can't just
yeah,
come in on the same as everyone else and be like, I'll make you a pretty looking website. No one cares. You're not going to stand out enough. Have an
yeah.
edge.
And how much of that do you think comes down to your niche that you're operating in, or to your core offering and product? Because obviously you guys have been relatively
Everything.
unniched.
Yeah, it's full circle. It all starts with the marketing. It all starts with, what are you putting out there? If you're putting
Yeah,
out a content that's just like, this is how you make a website look nice.
yeah,
No, what is your angle? How are you standing out? So, okay, we build funnels that look nice but also convert. then you can start doing marketing and videos and tweets, etc., about why this is a specifically good category and why it converts and how it works, and
Yeah.
it just gives you that edge. Yeah, I think ultimately it comes down to selling. I don't disagree that it's a competitive space. It's hugely competitive, but there's
Yeah.
not much that isn't these
Yeah.
days. Even new
Yeah.
trends at the moment, like even UGC content, viral ads, videos, they're all competitive now. You have to
Yeah.
have an angle. Just work out what your angle is. And it will also, do you know what? It doesn't have to just be an angle from the perspective of the offering. You can actually find an angle in who you're targeting.
Yeah.
So if, for example, your passion is golf,
Mm.
go and become the best web design agency for golf brands.
Yeah.
Become assessed. That's your angle.
Yeah.
You can. There's enough in the space to grab up those customers and make a hell of a lot of money. Then you can branch out
Yeah.
further. So it doesn't always have to be like CRO versus landing pages versus nice looking websites.
Yeah.
If there's a website that you're passionate about and you're very good at designing, go and become the website designer for communities or for YouTube influencers like Sam, or for
Yeah.
like that. There's always a way to do it that way.
I can't tell you how many times, probably, well, not a few times I've had people message me on Instagram. I do flick through them sometimes and just check them. And, they say, oh, I used to do this. Whether that, I had one guy who did email marketing for new ecom, which is cool. We know people do that and it's obviously crowded, but he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
doing well, he was making money. And then he was like, but I've switched. I saw you were doing well in the home improvement sector. So I think I'm going to switch to that. And I was like, are you crazy? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you had traction, you had an idea, you had something you're good at, and
mm,
you're just hopping on a trend and you're switching because of some trend that you've seen online. I hate that's like my biggest like bugbear is when people do that.
yeah,
Um, so I completely agree. And then I guess kind of my last question really is like obviously you and I have both been in that position from starting from zero, and we've both done random stuff that kind of led to where we are today.
yeah.
But if you were Ollie at 23 years old or whatever, no idea what you want to do, but you want to get into this entrepreneurial space, whether that's
Mm.
starting an agency, consulting, whether that's could be anything. What would you suggest? And you don't necessarily have any specific, well, you probably everyone's skilled, but you don't have any
Passions, or yeah,
specific
yeah,
skills or passions. What
sure.
would you suggest?
I think there's quite a few answers to this. I think community and networking is huge.
Mm,
So like being opportunistic, if Sam throws an in-person event, do everything you can to get to it.
mm,
If if you're inside a community and someone says, "Hey, do you want a phone call?" Take that phone call, because you don't know what leads to. I met my co-founder through a community. I built that community because of someone I met on another networking community site who then taught me how to make money through affiliate marketing.
mm.
Sam met us through Facebook. I think it was a Facebook group. So
Yeah,
like just not being afraid to go and meet people, get in amongst it, go to events, go to networking, because you'll soon meet people with similar, you're not alone, similar
yeah,
problems, similar passions, similar things you want to do in life. And there's power in numbers. If you could meet someone who's on the same journey as you, even if that journey is just at the beginning, and you
yeah,
have this connection with them. Again, I think finding someone like a co-founder, even if you don't have a business, but someone you can do this with, is hugely valuable.
yeah,
Most successful businesses or business people I can think of have a co-founder. They have the opposite of them.
yeah,
Andy is very much the opposite of me. I am very, very good at sales, marketing, innovation, that kind of thing. Andy's useless at it. Doesn't even want to know. He is
yeah,
incredibly good at processes, ops, teams. I'm useless at it. Don't want to
yeah,
know. It's the same as Sam and Rob. If you know too much about Sam's business, so I think that's one huge thing. Is just being really opportunistic, just getting out there, going to free events, going to meetups, going to meet people, getting on calls with people, and you'll soon work it out. But I also think one thing I wish I would have done a lot sooner is finding a mentorship. And Sam, we
yeah,
spoke about this. I'm fortunate enough to mentor Sam and Rob and his business partner. But I don't think, I hope I'm right in saying, I don't know if you'd be where you are
yeah,
if you as an agency, if you hadn't met us all 5 years ago.
yeah,
Because what
I agree.
mentorship allows you to do is almost cut corners. So the what you need to do in with a mentor is find someone who's in a position you want to be in,
Mm,
because what they'll typically do is save you a lot of money, a lot of heartache, and they'll
yeah,
allow you to do it a lot quicker. I've also now done that in my personal life as well. So I have probably two mentors. One who's very much a pretty much a business mentor. and the other one who is business but also personal. So I have a mentor over in America, a guy called Adam, and I really admire his personal life, so his family life, his beliefs, the way he raises his children, where he
Yeah.
lives, what he spends his money on. Like, and again, he gives me so much advice that I can get to where he is, where I want to be, a hell of a lot quicker. And people, people are always scared of finding mentors. The one thing I would say with mentorship, and please don't reach out to me just because I've got Sam and Rob and
Yeah.
other people, but Sam might, I don't know. But
Yeah.
what I would say is if you're reaching out to people, just have the courtesy. And again, me and Sam were together last week, and we had a beer, and we talked about this. But the one biggest thing I hate, because I get asked quite a lot of questions and can you mentor me, etc., is when people just think it's a given for them that I'm just going to say yes. So
Mm.
it's just being polite. Like, I know I'm probably old school sounding here, but like, if you're going to inbox someone and ask if they mentor you, or ask them a question, or ask them to jump on a quick 30-minute call, just having the decency to say, I hope you don't mind me asking. I know you're busy,
Yeah.
but is there any chance that you can do this? Offer to pay them. I've been
Yeah.
offered to pay, people have offered to pay me for advice a lot of times. I've never once taken any money, but
Yeah.
it's the fact that they've had the decency to do that
Yeah.
is where I will probably reply to that message versus someone who just goes, how did you build a 7-figure agency? Can you tell me? Like that, that's to me is like
Yeah.
frustrates the shit out of me. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think networking community is huge. I think finding a mentor or working, even if it's working within a company, and doing it that way, you can have a boss who's a mentor.
Yeah.
I spoke about Carl earlier in the next room. Like me and Andy are teaching him a lot of skills about how to run an agency, and he's doing amazingly. So
Yeah.
you can kind of do the same. You can have a job and but I think that just helps you cut corners, saves time, and make less mistakes, which is super powerful as well.
Yeah.
But you'll work it out. Like I say, I think
Yeah.
the more people you speak to, the more people you're around, the more people you are around that are on the same journey as you. I think that's the killer. Like when I was young, all my friends, and there's nothing wrong with this, by the way, but all my friends, we would just go out, get pissed, and they didn't have huge ambitions in life, and that's fine. They wanted to do your 9 to 5s, and they wanted to spend the weekend in the pub, and there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that at all. That's the way the world goes round. But the second you can remove those people and be more consistent with people who want the same things as you, you're closer to doing that for sure.
Yeah, and I think also was last thing to say on that one is if you're learning something, if you've got no seemingly got no skills, you don't think you have, go learn them and document the process. Like make that your content. There's I've
Yeah,
seen people who make TikToks and they do Twitter and they go and research the hell out of something and they document what they're learning online. Then you can build a
yeah,
whole business around that. Um, I think people think they have to have something in order to make content in order to build an audience. I don't think you do. I think if your content's interesting and people are learning something from it, they don't care whether you've been studying that for 2 decades or whether they're just reading something that is triggering something for them. It's interesting to them. That's all people care about.
they
So
associated with it. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I 100% agree. Listen, it's been awesome. I know you've got to get on, so I'll where can people find you? If anyone wants to get any, wants to reach out, or whether it's
Sure.
just to message you, or whether it's to hire you for pages for optimizations, where
Yeah, I
can they
mean,
find you?
if it's on the CRO side, typically we work with 7-figure and up e-com brands. You can find us
Yeah,
at conversionwise.com. But from a personal perspective, follow me on all socials. So at Oliver Kenyon. I'm sure you'll put links below the video. But
yeah.
yeah, X at Oliver Kenyon, LinkedIn. And yeah, I post a lot of CRO content on YouTube as well.
And yeah, I was about to say you guys conversion wise on YouTube, right? I'll
Yeah,
plug that down below as well. I
yeah,
think a lot of people will be watching that for the website optimizations. So
yeah, absolutely.
cool. Thanks so much.
No worries, mate. Loved it.
Uh, so thanks so much for watching that. I hope you enjoyed it. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I will leave links down below where you can find Ollie. You can find his company if you want to reach out and hire them, or if you want to follow them on YouTube. I'll leave a link to their YouTube in the description box down below. I really hope you found value. Any questions, as always, leave a comment underneath the video. I do read all of my comments and I try to reply to every single one as well. We have a few more spots open in the inner circle, which I mentioned at the start. If you want to get some practical training, you want to get some guidance from myself, you want to jump on our calls, join an amazing community, get access to some cool trainings that we're building out in there. There's a link to the description. There's a link to that in the description box below this video. But otherwise, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys here that watches these videos. We're slowly growing this channel, which is amazing. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.